Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the grand finals of the Pete People tournament. I cannot believe we're here. It's been a couple of days with very good matches, and of course, I'm joined by Creeper Killer 63. How are you today? Day of grand finals.
Oh, this is going to be a good day for sure.
Awesome. What about you, Normandia? How are you and your little birds?
Yeah, I'm fine, and it's going to be an interesting match today.
Yeah, for sure. So, let's recap a little bit. I'm gonna pull the brackets on the screen right now so we can go over the matches that we've had this week. We started with Foreground Static versus Pinky and Carvo versus Pokestorm on Monday, where Foreground Static won 2-0 against Pinky and Carvo 2-0 over Poka. Then we continued on Tuesday with Rower versus James of Woo and King of All Games versus Tom is Tomming, where it was 2-0 for James of Woo, 2-1 for King of All Games over Tom is Tomming. Then semifinals that we actually played yesterday, which was Wednesday. Foreground Static unfortunately couldn't make it against Carvo, and the latest took a 2-1 the series. All of them best of 3, of course. And on the lower side of the bracket, we have King of All Games 2 and James of Woo 0, which bring us to the grand final of Carvo versus King of All Games. And this is going to be a best of 5 match. So the first one to win 3 rounds or 3 games is going to be the winner. And the difference here is $300 of difference. So second place, both of these players already guaranteed $200, but the first place is gonna take $500. So they are fighting here. Every match they win, it's $100 more in their pockets, unless they lose the series, and that's $0 extra. But still, 200, not bad for 3 days of competition, right?
That's right. So some things I want to talk about right before the match starts. Usually, so far, this entire tournament has been a best of 3, first to 2 wins. This match is going to be a best of 5, first to 3 wins. So about these two, we mentioned this in previous days, but these two are both previous champions. Not only that, they're both previous teammates in the previous 2v2 tournaments that we've had. We've done 2v2 tournaments so far. These two guys, Carbo and King, were both on the same team for both those tournaments, and they won both times. So they're old teammates, now rivals, playing for the $500.
Yes, which means they have probably, share ideas in the past, share just the thought process in general, right? When you are in this 2 versus 2, probably talking and thinking what is the best play against your opponent. Of course, not necessarily the same in this 1 versus 1 scenario, but still, at least you know what he's thinking, right? You know where if he plays more aggressive and all of those things. So this is gonna be super interesting, and we're already jumping into the first match. So this is where the fun begins, everybody. Let's talk about compositions for this one.
All right, so obviously these two know each other very well. They know each other's teams. They know each other's play styles. They're playing around it well. This is a brand new team from King of All Games here, and I bet he picked this team specifically to counter a large amount of Carbo's teams, such as this one we see here. So obviously those robots that we discussed before, robots counter those pixies.
Yeah.
So King of Games does have that advantage there, that pixie counter.
Oh, okay.
He also has a couple of shields on the team. Hopefully he's going to try to play around that to have a couple of his harpoon shots hit the shields instead of a robot, or or instead of that mushroom or something like that.
And we've talked about this before. So the harpoon from Carvo is forcing King of All Games to kind of speed up the process, right, and get to the other side and start attacking as fast as possible.
Yeah, it forces King of All Games to kind of form to Carbo here. And Carbo, the longer it takes King to get to Carbo, the more damage Carbo's going to get in, making the match easier for Carbo to win. Kind of something interesting to notice here. I think this might be a significant factor. Carbo does have that cupcake on his team. So why that I think will be significant is King does not have And so every time a unit dies on King's side versus, or not even dies, just takes damage, that damage is done. He's not getting that health back. Wherever it happens on Carbo's side, he can heal that right back up. Mm-hmm. So kind of King needs his health more than Carbo needs his. So I'm pretty sure we're going to see that kind of play a little bit. King's probably going to lose his units faster. Ooh. So he did have the Harpoon hit the Cyclops there, which does have that heavy shield. Usually that heavy shield blocks, but it did not that time. Took the 9 damage. Cyclopses, because they have so much health, are usually one of the last units to die, so that 9 damage probably won't be significant. Kind of going back and forth. So this kind of an interesting map because of all the barrels. The King of all games does have to be careful about the barrels here because its pixies are really good at making those barrels explode. Mm-hmm. If those barrels explode on one of King of all games units, it's going to hurt him a lot. It's just, even if a barrel explodes on one of Carbo's units, there's not very another shield missed a block. The barrels don't hurt Carbo's units very much because Carbo's units, other than that Cupcake and Harpoon, are all fire resist. So if a barrel explodes on a unit, if it explodes on a unit on a King of Games teams, it's just going to hurt him a lot more.
I see.
Carbo is going farther back again here. What he's doing here is he's just trying to delay as many turns as possible for King of all games to get to Carbo to get as much damage in on that Harpoon as possible while he still can. One of the Carbo's sets last tournament against Foreground actually lost him the game doing the strategy a little bit because it allowed Foreground to completely surround him and focus fire his Cupcake and Harpoon dead. So Carbo should have to be a bit careful about that because it can be unbeneficial to him to overextend on the retreat move. Yeah, King of all games shields are sleeping here. He's been hit by a shield 2 times with those Harpoons, and neither time the shield blocked.
We've talked about this, right? So there's a lot of RNG involved, and even though you're, of course, trying to move the odds in your favor, there are a lot of things that are still on RNG hands, and there's nothing you can do about it, right? So as long as you make the right plays, even if RNG doesn't favor you, at least you should feel okay with your game, and the rest sometimes it's not 100% up to you.
I think we've only had like 1 or 2 games that really the deciding factor was RNG. Yeah. Maybe honestly just one that even comes to mind this tournament. But yeah, definitely is a factor regardless. Carbo's doing a good job here. He's placing his Cobalts in a way where that mushroom cannot hit 3 of them at once, making sure that the mushroom can only at max hit 2 of his Cobalts at a time. Looks like King of all games robots here, Electrobots, are getting pretty low on health here. It's got to be a little bit careful about that because those robots are what King of all games needs to win this matchup here. As soon as those robots die, he usually loses the match at that point. King of all games is going for the chain lightning attacks here instead of the melees. The reason for that is those chain lightnings give it a chance to do damage to that Cupcake and those pixies. The Cupcake's good because it's not going to regen that health back. The pixies are good because it just does more damage to the pixies than it does the kobolds. Yeah, Carbo's doing everything right, it looks like, for the most part. What Carbo could be doing a little bit better here, I think, is trying to focus fire a certain unit down. Like right now, he had both his pixies attacking that mushroom. That mushroom had pretty much full health at the start of the turn. It's going to take him just that much longer to kill that mushroom. It's better to go after something else just to get those kills off.
Makes sense.
Usually that human would be the better choice that turn.
Trying to be consistent with the focus then. Oh, the first.
Yeah. So that's kind of the point of the Cyclops on King of All Games team. That Cyclops does a lot of damage to this particular unit. In this case, it just killed that Kobold.
Yeah.
Those Kobolds die quickly at low health versus the Cyclops. The Kobolds are the tank units here. They're not doing very much damage. The point of the Kobolds on this team is just to save the health of the more higher important units. So if you lose a Kobold or two early on, it does not mean the match is over, like it does some other units.
Mm-hmm. Taking
So that barrel is on extremely low health here.
Yeah.
They both have to be extremely well, more so King of All Games has to be really mindful of the barrel. Looks like he's purposely not placing any units next to it, but if he had, those pixies probably would have ended up exploding the barrel on his units that turn if he had put the units in range.
The harpoon has been poisoned, so it's gonna be taking a little bit of damage, but
that's not too significant. I mean, kind of the only health that matters is your last hit point. As long as your unit's doing damage, your unit's being effective.
Yeah.
King of All Games doesn't really have a way to activate the barrels on his team at all. So Carbo doesn't really have to play around the barrels too much unless he's scared he's going to explode it on himself somehow. We lost another Cobalt. That was a pretty good Cobalt for him to lose. This is kind of interesting looking at the way Carbo's playing around that barrel really well. Those Electrobots and that Cyclops can't really get in a range and do anything without taking the risk of the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
So Carbo's doing a good job of just kind of denying these units a turn for it to do something.
Looks like the Cyclops not gonna do much this turn.
Well, yeah, the way it is, it can't. Well, it is doing something technically. That Cyclops is in a place where Carbo cannot place this harpoon anywhere without giving it a chance of attacking that Cyclops or targeting that Cyclops.
I see.
Which, usually blocks.
Yeah. It should at least.
It should at least. Looking at the YouTube chat, some people are rooting for both sides. It looks like some people want Carbo to win. Some people want King of All Games to win here.
Yeah. They're getting their fans, after making it to the grand finals.
It's important.
Yes. You gotta root for them. Just pick one and he's gonna be your hero for the next tournament.
Something like that.
Good damage, and those bots are very, very low in HP.
Carbo does have the health advantage right now, just total team health, but I don't think that's going to be too significant at this point. I think Carbo is going to, or King of All Games is going to pull the win here. So the way Carbo would want to go about winning this, if he has his Cupcake alive in the late game versus anything else, he can actually, assuming the Cyclops is the last unit on the field come the end of the game, what Carbo can do is he can outrun the Cyclops with his human, with whatever he has left and his Cupcake, and just heal back up. So heal up, do damage, heal up, go run away, do damage, heal up, do damage. Kind of do that back and forth thing, and King of All Games just will not have an answer for that.
Makes sense.
Losing now that he's lost both his pixies, so Carbo pretty much lost almost the entirety of his ability to do damage. He might be able to get a couple robot kills. There's one, but that mushroom and that other robot, it's going to be extremely hard for him to get the kill on those things at this point. Carbo's also doing a really poor job at playing around electricity chains. That's something I kind of mentioned before. I do not think Carbo knows how to play around those electric chains. You want there to be either 1 to 2 tiles, 1 to 3 tiles in between each of your units, not the 2 he has been doing before.
Why is he trying to keep the kobold so far from the battle at this point?
Okay, so that's entirely because of the late game. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, if he has that Cobalt alive and that Cupcake alive, in the extreme late game when it's just versus that Cyclops, he can do a little bit of damage to the Cyclops with the Cobalt and then run away and heal up, kind of do that pattern thing.
Okay.
And King of Games just will not have an answer for that.
Okay. So for that, he needs to kill the mushroom and the bot first. Yeah,
which is unlikely to happen. That both of these units here are probably, well, first off, they have so much health left, and even that mushroom still has a ton of health left in him. Luckily, the poison didn't land on the Cupcake, but Carbo's not really doing a good job at avoiding that from happening in the future. King has another mushroom poison chance. I think the play with the Cupcake there was actually like kind of just run away a little bit so he cannot attack it. Again, Carbo's places units in a spot where the chain can attack both of them.
Yeah.
Something you just want to. Oh, that was actually lucky. I thought that might happen. But yeah.
Okay, so can you just explain what happened right there?
All right, so whenever you have a lightning chain, it chains always to 2 units away. You need a space in between the units. It favors targeting your opponent's units before targeting you. However, if your own unit is not, if the only unit in range to get targeted by the chain is one of your own units and it wants to do a chain, it's going to attack one of your own. And in this case, I did that to his mushroom. Mushrooms move each unit has a different movement priority. Some units will move before others. Mushrooms, I think, are very last. Mushrooms will always be your last unit to move when you execute a turn. So yeah, what that caused because the robot attacked so quickly, it attacked and the lightning went, and the mushroom just happened to be in range because it moved slower to get the chain lightning to attack him, which just happened to be enough to kill the Cupcake there.
That's an interesting moment for sure. Something to highlight.
So Carbo's kind of running away here, hoping just to get some opportunity to get attack on that robot without the Cyclops being in the way, because that Cyclops is scary enough that it could kill the Kobold. You know, what Carbo kind of needs to do is he needs to kill that robot without hitting either one of his 2 final units to die, but he doesn't really have a way of doing that. He could kind of be a little bit more aggressive, just take a couple of hits from the Cyclops right now. But if he does that, if the Kobold gets stunned or knocked back by the Cyclops, King of All Games could absolutely two-turn kill that Kobold. So he has to be really careful about that.
Interesting play here, trying to make the barrels explode, I guess. But yeah, nothing.
Yeah, King of All Games for sure knows that he cannot let his Electrobot die here, or else he loses the game.
So this is gonna be a long game 1. So Buckle your pants, everybody. We're gonna be here for a while. Rotating around. Luckily for Carvo, this is also a large map, right? We've seen others that are a little bit shorter. Smaller,
Yeah.
I should say. Oh, he's going for the damage, looks like? No. Not yet. Not ready yet.
That's kind of a smart play on Camel Games' part. Just kind of leave the robot behind in the cannon while he's trying to put the Cyclops go ahead, be aggressive with the Cyclops, defensive with the robot, if you will.
Okay.
Oh, Carbo's going for it, does it? Maybe? We'll see. Here's kind of the thing. Carbo can absolutely kind of go for free damage on that Cyclops here if he wants. Ooh.
Yeah, because at some point he needs to start attacking, right? And here we go. Looks like it's gonna be a little bit of damage.
That wasn't great by Carbo because right now the Cyclops is in range that the Cupcake and the Electrobot can get a chain up on the Cobalt
Yeah,
and hit
that's
the
a chain.
Cupcake. So
Chain and okay, hit the
for a
Cobalt.
second there, I thought the chain might have hit the Cyclops, kind of like it did to kill the Mushroom earlier, because the Cyclops is slower than the robot.
Oh, robot a little bit exposed now.
I mean, look how much health that robot has. It's going to take 5-10 turns to actually get a kill on it. Maybe not 10 turns, but like at least 5 plus.
And remember, every time the Cupcake is taking damage, that also means less healing for the future, right? So
Not exactly. No, just the Cupcake's going to do its healing no matter what. The only time it stops healing is when it dies, really. Yes, technically when it's only at like 1 or 2 health left, it won't heal, but that's not really significant. Just when it dies is when it's important.
yeah. Oof.
Didn't get the stun off, but did get the knockback, so it's kind of the Cobalt can't run away from Carbo's units there.
GG, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so King of All Games takes game number 1 against Carvo. He was, it was intense. He tried until the last second, but that knockback was a little bit too much. So this is where it stands.
Yep. Now Camel Games is ahead.
He is indeed. Let me update the score here on the screen. I'm just gonna say whenever you guys are ready for game 2, go for it. King of All Games looks like it's ready.
Yeah, King is very confident, I'm sure. I mean, he kind of has the advantage here. Carbo cannot. King only needs to win 2 more matches. Carbo still needs to win 3.
Yep.
Let's see what happens.
Here we go. Game number 2. Let's see compositions in just a little bit. I gotta place my bets first. Here we go. Okay, so same for King of All Games, and we have some changes on Carvo's side. What do you think, Creeper?
So those Electrobots are kind of a counter to those Vampiruses. The Vampiruses don't really have a good way of dealing with the Electrobots. And Carbo's team as a whole here doesn't really have a way of dealing with that mushroom too much either. The Axioman won't get too much value here either because of the shields. So he's not going to get very many stuns with that. I think King of All Games usually wins here as well. I don't think Carbo's team really does have a great way of dealing with Kings of All Games team here. He has a few things. I feel like Carbo can deal with that Cyclops and probably that human well pretty effectively, but the rest of the team just does not have a great answer for.
Carbo's team main damage comes from the vampires. So, and the vampires cannot send so much damage. So he have sort of relies on his kobolds to protect the vampires as well.
I see.
Yeah, so kind of each team can kind of like get the positioning they want at the start. Someone is going to have to like kind of take the first move, get the first hit in. I think what Carbo wants is Carbo wants kind of King to kind of go towards him before Carbo goes towards King, because Carbo's team kind of swarms and surrounds a lot more, while King of All Games team kind of doesn't want that too much. So I suppose King shouldn't need to worry too much, because swarming just doesn't work versus this mushroom. That mushroom he can be very aggressive with his mushroom right now, and it's going to be fine if King wants to.
I like how the composition of King of All Games has like a little bit of everything. So it's, I don't know, it looks interesting. But I guess Carbo is kind of the same. Only one unit that repeats.
I know King of Games especially likes the idea of it doesn't really matter what team you bring in. If you're playing better, you can win. And his teams are definitely kind of designed around that mentality that it doesn't matter what I face up against with this team, I'm going to have the ability to win.
Makes sense.
So King of All Games team is not without its weaknesses for sure. I mean, Cyclops lose to Nets. Robots just lose to Wraiths and stuff like that. So there are definitely many teams that counter King of All Games team here for sure. Going for the 3-hit on the mushroom.
We're asking in our chat, is the entire tournament today? So the first couple rounds happened between Monday and Wednesday. So we had round of 8 and semifinals over the past 3 days, and now we are in the grand final. So this is the best of 3, and they're fighting for getting those $500 for first place, but they both secured $200. So
let me correct you on something. Best of 5.
What did I say? Best of 3? Yeah, but yeah,
you said best of 3.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, it's a best of 5. Sorry. Yes, best of 5. So we have conversions and confusions.
That confusion is kind of... King of All Games does have to make sure that Cyclops is kind of out of range to attack his other units, because if it can confuse attacks of one of his own units, Cyclops does a lot of damage like that. So that's something King of All Games wants to try to avoid here. Yeah. Shouldn't be too hard to avoid. You know that Cyclops, out of everything, well, other than the mushroom, the Cyclops will move last. Yeah, Carbo just needs to get these units low enough to start getting some bleeding hits on some, like that human and mushroom specifically, but it's just his team is not doing a good job at getting that done. Units you can get to bleed quickly, units like kobolds are good are a good matchup for vampires, because they bleed easily, so they get low health easily. The vampires get that extra damage force them easily. Also getting a little bit unlucky there. Carbo not getting that axe stun on that mushroom there. That's something he kind of needed to help him get ahead in this match. So kind of the reason that Electrobot's kind of counter vampires is when they attack a unit, they get healed a little bit, and when they're on start bleeding, they start vampires do their bonus damage. They don't do that versus Electrobots because they don't either. Yeah, pretty much. So they're not getting that little bit of healing, and they're not getting that bonus damage in versus the Electrobots. So it's just harder to keep them alive and less damage.
One Cobalt unfortunately died last round.
Yeah, it did due to Mushroom, I think.
Yeah.
Something a little bit unlucky here is that Carbo's just, in order for Carbo to really end up winning this match, he needs his Octoclops to really perform well, really get a lot of those paints off, and so far it's just not doing it. RNG is not really favoring Carbo here. Another Cobalt die. The Cobalts aren't really contributing very much to Carbo's team in this matchup, really. Just kind of gives him a bit of a unit advantage, but not really. On this map specifically, that's not really that helpful. I don't know. It looks like increasing this match is kind of going to go down to the late game versus those Electrobots, whether or not his team can kill him or not with the health it has left. Finally gets that paint off, though.
Yes. Finally gets that paint. No stuns. So that works.
King of all games might get a few hits off that Mushroom with the Chain Lightning. Yeah, only a couple. Carbo will get a kill on that Mushroom and probably that human before this game ends. It's just those Electrobots just still have so much health.
Yeah.
And the Cyclops, of course, is really good at taking a lot of hits, so it's going to be hard for him to get the kill on those guys. Ooh.
Not dead yet. Oh, maybe not?
He needs...
No.
He really needs to either kill or get a stun on that Mushroom there, because right now that Mushroom has hit on that Cupcake.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe he should try to target the Mushroom with his Octoclops too or something, just to get that little bit more damage and to guarantee the kill.
Here we go, Mushroom. Oh, okay.
Luckily, did not attack the Cupcake there.
Yes, got lucky there. Not sure if we talk about it. Sorry if we did. I was just fixing a couple things here, but one of the units is frozen right now. Where is that coming from?
So you can see on Camelot game side, his lightweight sword is the Popsicle sword that has a stun chance. I think it's around 24-ish%, somewhere around there. Kind of depends on your level, but yeah, stun units, frozen units are kind of interesting because Frozen is actually kind of the worst type of stun in the game. A frozen unit is just kind of like every other stun in the game. You know, the stun with axes and the stun with Electrobots. There's a word for that. But frozen units are special because frozen units take less damage whenever they're hit when frozen. So like frozen like increases their defense pretty much.
Makes sense. The barrier of ice protecting them.
Something like that.
So definitely that Mushroom is dead now. Oh yes, it is. Double kill, so the human and the Mushroom. And now exactly as you said. So Cyclops and Electrobots against everything else.
Carbo has kind of two options here. He can either go for that Cyclops, which might be a little bit easier for him to kill here just because the vampires can actually deal with the Cyclops, get a little bit of healing off them and whatnot. But the Electrobots are... Oh, man. So, yeah. Carbo just does not have a great way of dealing with what's left here. That Cyclops does a lot of damage to units with low health, and those Wraith or those vampires just do not have a lot of health in them. So
He got a paint though, so it's winning a little bit of time, but and some damage from the Electrobots.
What that paint can be extremely significant about is let his rest of the team run away and start bullying those Electrobots while the Cyclops can't really hit anything.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't look like Carver wants to go for that play though, which is fine. Just keep doing damage to that Cyclops until it's dead. Get him out of the game.
Oof. So yeah, it looks like Carvo is fighting from the back once again at this late game.
Well, I don't know.
Good damage.
The Cyclops is bleeding now.
Yeah, that Wraith is going to start doing that Vampires is going to start doing a bit more damage to that Cyclops now. If it can survive, which it should survive this turn, at least, unless both those Electrobots get a chain lighting off it and the Cyclops crits pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, chain lightning interrupted the attack of the Cyclops. What happened there is one of Game of Games Electrobots was in range to attack, I think, his yellow human there, and from where it was, there was nothing in range of Carbo's units that lightning could have chained off of. So chained off of his own Cyclops.
Yeah. And
interrupted the Cyclops' attack, which helped Carbo not die as quickly.
Mm-hmm.
That Cupcake still has enough health on Carbo's side for him to pull the win here. All the units are alive. Well, not all of them, but these ones are.
Carvo obviously continues to focus the Cyclops. Makes sense, trying to condense all the damage into
one. Once you
one.
got it this low, you start targeting that Cyclops.
Yeah. While I think King of All Games have been a little bit more spread with its damage. Of course, the lightings kind of do damage to everything. Oh, it kills his own Cyclops. Not too good. So maybe Carbo has a chance here.
Carbo's kind of playing around Chain Lightning a little bit here. Oh, finally gets that axe stun.
Yeah, stun. Nowhere to run.
Yeah, King of All Games at this point needs to get that Cupcake out of that game. The Cupcake is what is giving Carbo a chance of pulling the win. He needs that Cupcake to gone. Carbo's play here is just, I guess, would be just try to get that Electrobot out of the game as soon as possible. Put him down just to 1 unit left.
Mm-hmm. Looking for that stun once again. Let's see if he gets it.
He can't chain stun unless he gets an Octo Paint. He can get an Octo Paint off the stun, but he can't, like, with the axes, he can't stun twice.
Makes sense.
Alright, King of All Games going for the right play here. He knows the chain link. Oh my goodness.
Oh my god, that was so unlucky.
That was so, lucky on Carbos, and
yeah,
pretty much always that ends up chaining off the. Yeah.
That was...
So it's unlucky because usually the lightning chains off of the one Electrobot onto his Cupcake there, or from the Wraith to the Cupcake there. It did not. It chained to his own Electrobot, canceling the attack.
Yeah. And
that might be enough to give Carbo the win here, actually. I thought, if you asked me who I thought was going to win this match going in, I would have said I thought King of All Games was going to pull the one. He did not, which is surprising. He's going for a melee with those axes there. That when you throw them there, when you throw the axes, I think they do a little bit more damage than when you melee with them. But I suppose they have a chance to miss, and if an axe misses, hits your own unit and stuns it, that can possibly take Carbo out of this win.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not, though. Looking how I think Carbo has this game in the bag at this point.
Wow, that was really impressive. But we gotta say, King of All Games, yeah, he gives the GG at this point. So we're gonna tie the series 1-1. So this is getting interesting. It's getting spicy right here.
We only have a best of three at this point.
Yes. It's like
1-1.
1-1. It's a good start. I was just going to say that King of All Games got a little bit unlucky there. I think his attacks were cancelled a couple times, and then he also killed his own units a couple times, and that shouldn't. Yeah, I mean, you know, it happens. It's there. It's in the game, so you need to kind of count for it. But sometimes you expect that it's not gonna happen, and it happens.
Oh, there are a couple of times where he could have played around that, but like in the late game, yeah, RNG was favoring Carbo just a tad. King of Games, all games could have played a little bit better around that positioning wise. Like he wasn't having his robots target the correct unit to make sure the chains do not screw him over like that. He could have done a little bit better with that.
Yes, I think so too. We'll see if the Electrobots continue. We're getting into game number 3 of this series. So we have Electrobots, same composition for King of All Games, but it's Carvo who changes things up with a lot of zombies. We saw this yesterday, right? From Carvo.
We saw that, yeah, that team did really well against foreground static yesterday, this zombie team. Let's see, Carbo used that team twice against foreground, and he won both times he used the team. So, but I know that this is kind of something King of All Games kind of factored in here into. I know just looking at the team King of All Games has, he kind of factored this team into the counter team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, King of All Games does have a team that's meant to counter all Carbos, and this is one of the teams built to do that. Corso's doing a good job making King of All Games go to Carbo here. So kind of what's most significant here is Carbo just does not have a good way of dealing with that human, but especially not a good way of dealing with that Cyclops.
I see.
The harpoons shoot past them. Those robots don't do very much focus fire. They can be spread out among 2 units and don't do very much damage to begin with. And that mushroom just does not do damage to that Cyclops much at all. So he doesn't really have a way of dealing with that Cyclops at all.
And just for everyone that it's new, so the cool aspect of the zombies is that when they die, they have a chance of respawning after a couple turns, couple rounds. So that obviously helps, especially in the late game. But there are some ways to manipulate or work around that, play around that, I should say. So we'll see how that goes later.
That mushroom is pretty useless on King of All Games side, but King of All Games also has that ice sword on his team, which does do that bonus damage versus zombies. So it's going to make it just that little bit easier for King of All Games to get a kill here on those guys.
This series is 1-1, so we started, so you guys can tell, they are both very skilled players. They know the game.
They know each other.
And they know each other. So if you see any mistakes, well, we can blame that on being nervous, you know, and sometimes you try to oversee things. You try to think over a couple turns ahead, and you have so many things on your mind. And these guys are playing for a $300 difference. So the second place getting $200, first place getting $500. So there's definitely a lot in the table for them, and they've been very open about this. Oh, froze 2 zombies right there, so that's good.
Yeah, that froze also prevents a good mushroom hit. It looks like he could have gotten on the human Cyclops.
So yeah, what I wanted to say is that yesterday they were here on the chat or on Discord saying that they are indeed nervous. So there's a lot of tension here, and sometimes you can see that in the game as well. But we'll see. They're probably also very focused at this point. 14 damage from that mushroom, not bad.
Yeah, that mushroom. It's Garbo can deal with most of the team on King of all games side, just not that human, not that Cyclops.
The harpoons all the way in the back here, you're shooting, chilling. And you can see that Carvo is also moving them. And this is to make sure he's hitting the targets he wants, right?
Yeah. He's trying hard to keep his harpoons. I suppose the highest priority units for the harpoons here would be the Electrobots. That mushroom isn't going to do very much against Carbo's team.
Yeah.
Yes, I am the real creepy creeler in the chat. Someone I'm talking to someone in chat and they asked if I'm the real person.
Oh.
I am surprised that King of Games used the same team 3 times.
Yeah, he built a team for the sole purpose of countering Carbo's teams, and it's honestly it could have Carbo or King could have won that last match. The team is doing what it's built to do, counter Carbo.
Nice hits. 55 damage last round, 42 damage for King of All Games. And we are on King of All Games' turn right now. That Electrobot hasn't received damage from anything else besides the harpoons, right? So very good job by Carbo there. Focusing that one.
It's the only units that really are any value of attacking the harpoons with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, one thing KML Games isn't really doing here at all is placing a shield in the spot to kind of soak in that harpoon shots, just so it's not hitting something he doesn't want it to. He's letting Carbo get a lot of the harpoon shots. Right now, Carbo is ahead in health right now. It just might not matter much in the late game just because there's no way of dealing with that human and Cyclops. He's dealing with the rest of the team just fine. Carbo's team is really good at dealing with the rest of the team's team, just not that human and Cyclops. KML Games is making an effort to stand on the graves here.
Mm-hmm.
Prevent those spawns. He needs to do that to win the game.
If you're standing, they're not going to respawn, right? Maybe you're muted, Creeper, or didn't hear me.
So I think I just kind of lagged out for a second. Actually, what was that?
Oh, and when you're standing on the tombs, the zombies don't respawn, right?
Yeah. They cannot respond while you're standing on them.
No kills this round, but all of those zombies are kind of low in HP.
Yeah, and those harpoons have a shot off on that. I think they have a shot on that Electrobot here, so that one's going to die pretty quickly, I'm pretty sure.
Carbo has the late game advantage, by the way, so...
Well, yeah, just because robot respawns in the late game just kind of win you the game.
Yeah.
Actually, looking at the way this is going and looking at health overall, even if Carbo doesn't get any respawns here, I think he can still pull the win here, just because of how much health he has in those two harpoons.
Yeah.
So why that's significant is come late game, even versus that Cyclops, those harpoons can come. Well, first off, the harpoons and the Cyclops move at the same speed, so they can, Carbo can run away from a really long time, just getting a lot of shots. And Cyclops is going to block most of them, but they're going to get a few hits of damage in, which is going to help them kill him. And then eventually, when that's no longer the case, he can have both his harpoons just start meleeing the Cyclops. And those two harpoons do have enough health left in them that they can melee that Cyclops to death.
Yeah. Electrobot's getting closer. And once again, King of All Games receiving damage on that Cyclops from his own Electrobot. Not a big deal for now, but, it all adds up.
Yeah.
Oh, Electrobot's gone. Very good job on this game by Carvo on that focus fire, I guess. Really good.
I think what Carbo should do here, it looks like he kind of caught on, but kind of put his units or his zombie and his mushroom kind of just outside of range so the Cyclops cannot attack his units while that Cyclops stay on the grave, just trying to force him off of it.
A little bit unlucky Carvo there. One of the harpoons missed and killed his own zombie, but...
Yeah. Honestly, at this point, Carbo should just kind of wait and for the Cyclops to just be done staying on the grave.
Oh, double respawn, attack, and now it's gonna chase forever. King of All Games kind of forced to defeat these zombies, but that means more shots, more chances of killing him. And maybe more respawns in the future. So, looking good for Carvo the next couple rounds. We'll see. 7 damage, and the shots blocked.
Most of the shots are going to get blocked. A few will hit, and those few that hit will be important, though.
Okay, well, that's zombie.
That zombie might respawn again. That happens.
Yeah. And okay, let's use 4 and missed. I like how Carvo is spreading the harpoons as well, so just
that's something to talk about. This spreading the harpoons, you kind of have two places to go with here. You can either spread them or you're not. The advantage of spreading them is that the Cyclops can only chase one now. So the one it decides to chase down, the other one's still going to get shots off. However, because of that shield, those shots are probably not going to do very much.
Yeah.
So if he keeps the harpoons together, by the time the Cyclops does get in range, both harpoons can just start bullying the Cyclops. I mean, at this point, Kings of the Game has zero chance of winning the game. Though the harpoons is like one hit away with harpoon melee.
Blocking and blocking. Another zombie respawn, and I think he's gonna get some damage now. Oh no, moving away. Might be getting those harpoons together now. The mushroom getting closer as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Carbo's watching the stream. So whenever I tell him what to do, he's going to do it. When I say this is the best play, he's going to go, okay.
At this point, he can just melee the Cyclops and end the game.
Yeah, Carbo's being overly cautious here. I just want the Cyclops to... Nope. Now he's seriously one hit away from dead. Any hit from anything will kill it. He could kill it with a poison hit from the mushroom right now if he wanted to.
Yeah, he's probably gonna try get with everything in. Harpoons and zombie walking in. We'll see. Mushroom. That's it. And it's gonna be GG. So Carvo gets game number 3. And he's one game away from being the champion of the Speed People tournament at PAX. But still, there's more. There's more, so...
We got 1 to 2 games left. Carvo just has to win one more. King has to win 2. Who knows how this is going to go?
Yes, so this is 2-1 right now. Oops, there you go. 2-1. So Carvo is going for it. Are these tournaments every year? Asked Gonzalo Alves in YouTube. This is the first one that we've done, but the guys from like Creeper Normandia, they organize tournaments once every 2 months, more or less. They don't necessarily have money as prize, but we've given away hoodies, plushies, figurines, shirts, hoodies, and a variety of things. So you can join and practice for when we might do another of this in the future. So it's better for you to stay around and see. Looks like King of All Games going for a little bit of a change, right?
Yeah, he must be. Found the team's just not. He lost, 2 games in a row? He's not feeling that team anymore.
Yeah.
Kind of just touching up on what you said about the future tournaments. We kind of have already a plan for what we want to do for the next Pit People tournament. What our kind of plan is, we're going to do a no OU tournament, so a no overuse tournament. So kind of those top tier best units in the game.
Mm-hmm.
The Cupcake, Unicorn, Kobolds, and Pixies, and probably Mushrooms too. We're going to say we're banning these units from the tournament.
Oh.
Just the most best units in the game, just to kind of change up the meta, get people using other units of the game, get people making spider teams and stuff like that. Get people to see the Gorgons, maybe even some trolls here and then. Because right now in the top tier meta, we just never see those in play.
Okay.
Kind of take away the top tier so allow the bottom tier to actually see some play. Also might make it more competitive too. This nerfs a lot of the better players who only know how to use those top tier units. I think it would be interesting.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely gonna be. So we'll see. So I'm sorry about that. I hit my microphone a little bit. So we're just waiting on Carvo right now. He might be thinking, getting ready, maybe changing the teams, deciding what to do. King of All Games, it's ready. Just gonna let it whenever you guys are ready to go for it. So the deal here is Carvo is 1 win away in Pit People for getting an extra $300, while King of All Games needs to win another game just to stabilize things and then go to a final game to get it. Yeah. He's asking for a little change. Looks like Carvo also wants to change a little something over here, so we're gonna give him his time. It's important. It is important. I hope you guys are enjoying this stream. It's the first time we're making it. I'm already thinking on if we're ever do it again, what kind of improvements we can have and how we can move things around to make this even more entertaining. But I've been learning a lot. It has been a great experience. And yeah, makes me want to jump into the competitive. I remember when I started playing Pit People, this was probably back in March. Maybe you remember better, Creeper, but I'm like, okay, what's this all about? Because I actually never played Pit People before. So I came in, I started playing the campaign, and I'm like, okay, I have this team. I'm ready to jump into the PvP. Let's see what we have here. And my first match ever was against Creeper Killer, also known as what, like top 3 in the server. And I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I just started asking questions like, how do you guys play and so on. And I got to know the Discord server, so I was just kind of keeping track of what was going on, and then we started doing this sort of collaborations. But I was very happy to learn that you guys were there just organizing things and just keeping the competitive community active. Okay, game number 4, ladies and gentlemen. If Carvo wins, that's it. He will be the champion. If King of All Games win, we'll have a last game to define it all.
I know these two team comps. I've done this matchup before. Carvo usually wins here. Those Vampires so we're talking about how Vampires earlier, they only get that bonus. They only do that bonus bleeding damage and get that healing off of certain units they can attack. Zombies is one of the few units they do not get that that off of. They do not do extra bonus damage against bleeding zombies. They do not heal off of zombies. So that just kind of nerfs King of All Games team here a little bit. Also, this map, King of All Games team is really good at like surrounding and taking down your opponent's team. This map just does not allow for that to happen. It's too much of a choke point thing going on. Also, as harpoons, Carbo's going to get in, Carbo's going to get in quite a few harpoon shots in on King of All Games team. King can't really do anything about it. So it pushes King's team closer to Carbo and whatnot. Any of that mushroom, King of All Games team, the only way that team works is by swarming. Swarming a mushroom is always a bad idea. It's not unwinnable for King of All Games, but the odds are not in its favor for this matchup.
We'll see. We'll see. Unfortunately, the luck, the RNG has not been in King of All Games' favor most of the games. He has some lucky moments, but
yeah, he only has RNG in his favor when he's fighting me in tournaments. Never any other time.
Yeah. And Carbo has been using his harpoons really well. All of them, both of them, attacking almost every turn and targeting a single enemy. So that definitely helps to the overall damage output that those units are making. So we'll see how it moves. I believe you, Creeper, but let's see if King of All Games show us wrong.
I mean, so I've used that team Carbo's used before quite a few times. I kind of know how the team operates, and that team that King of All Games is doing, it's not the first time we've seen this team comp. We've said this is Normandia. Normandia came up with the 3 vampires, 2 sets of kobolds, hero cupcake. This is kind of Normandia's team. I've used that team a ton, and I fought Carbo with that team a ton. Overall positioning wise, I kind of know how to outposition Carbo, or at least I did at the time, and Carbo still beat me with a team comp change. It's going to be hard for King of All Games to pull the win here.
Carbo's running away, and the harpoon's hitting. What are those units in the bottom right trying to achieve? Why did he spread them out?
The only reason I can think of that he might have done that is just, either put him completely out of the range of the harpoons or make it so they'll target the kobold.
I see.
To the harpoon. That's kind of my best guess, trying to do that to some degree. Well, actually, now it looks like he's going to go try to flank with those two. He doesn't want to go into the choke point because then only a few of King of All Games' units are even in range to do any damage. So if he goes around this kind of choke point area, then that kind of prevents that. That allows his other units to actually get value this match, which is definitely something you're going to need if you want to win.
Some Misatakis, harpoons, a miss, and a hit for 14, so that's good. This is gonna be the first time King of All Games is able to get some damage this round.
Yeah.
Just thinking the right positioning over here. Cupcake kind of protected behind everything. Then there's also 2 sort of flanks, so it's going for something. You know what? He might be, so you can correct me if I'm wrong, of course you always do it, and that's totally fine, but he might be trying to flank to not allow the harpoons to run either left or right.
I mean, those harpoons are going to kind of get in range to do stuff no matter what. And those zombies are kind of extremely hard to get past, so he's not... Carbo's going to be able to do kind of whatever he wants with those harpoons until at least the way this game's going so far, that's going to be the case.
Okay.
King might be trying to have that not be the case, but there's really not much he can do about it at this point. He just flew one of his vampires right back in, just to figure to get more value that way. Ooh, I don't know if King Gravel Games knows that, but he is going to be walking his vampires right over a spike there if he does what he does on the right side. What he'd want to do is fly the vampire, because the spike's did 11 damage. Flying only does like 4. It saves you, what was that, 6 health?
Yeah.
7 health, actually, I think. Wait, whatever the number is.
Harpoon's moving a little bit to the left, where there's only kobolds, and the zombies immediately protecting as well. While over the right you have the vampires and the kobolds going, but the vampires already kind of stuck behind those 2 zombies, and the harpoons are still free. Good damage, one on the cupcake, one on the vampire as well. Mushroom blocking things in the center, so not bad for Carvo right here, controlling the action from different sides. Looks like he was trying to go for the harpoons, and they're going to start taking some damage, but is he going to be relevant though?
Those zombies will be able to kind of swarm in on those kobolds, get some slowness. The zombies will end up winning these trades versus the kobolds, especially if the kobolds aren't doing any damage to the zombies, trying to focus all on those harpoons. 2 harpoons versus 2 kobolds, that's going to take the kobolds a lot of time to get anywhere close to killing either of them. Those harpoons are going to get a lot of damage in before that becomes the case. Those harpoons are still going to get a bunch of damage.
King is playing very well, by the way, even the odds are against him.
Nice. Yeah, I mean,
he's doing a couple of things I probably wouldn't have done, but yeah, definitely what he's going for here does make sense always. Getting those harpoons, he's trying to always have the harpoons either target that cupcake or one of the vampires, is never a kobold.
that mushroom taking some damage down there, but nothing too critical for now.
I mean, look at the way this match kind of looking. King of All Games has his units separated. Carbo just needs to like surround his kobolds one at a time with his zombies or something, kill them, then do it to the next and the next. Carbo's not really able to get a lot of kills on any of King of All Games units, and when it does, it's going to be a zombie, which is probably just going to end up respawning.
True.
Mushroom's really good against kobolds. Just open up the door to getting multi-hits off.
Oh.
Yeah, there goes the vampires, which is a big chunk of King of All Games damage gone.
Yeah, that was very... Well, it's good job by Carvo as well. Once again, focusing that one, getting the kill.
This vampire team was not designed for like long attrition battles like this one, so it's not like a good deal.
I see. I feel like in all the matches we have seen, like the vampires tend to be a big gamble on your composition. If there are zombies, not as useful. If there are electrobots, not as useful. But you know, maybe King of All Games just was unlucky on this one in particular. He might...
Well, vampires definitely do have their times when they absolutely do shine. A good example is like versus kobolds, which is a very significant unit in this game, very top tier unit. Vampires do a pretty good job at dealing with kobolds, getting those killed. just, I don't know. A lot of people were just playing well around it. I mean, these top tier players are just finding better and better ways at dealing with these top tier Kobold teams.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you were right. I mean, the Kobolds have been attacking the Harpoon for a couple rounds now, and still it's not even half the HP in any of them. So it's gonna take a while. If he can get them to bleed, maybe, so the vampires can do something later, but that's gonna take a while too.
Yeah, these units are Carbo just is going to get these harpoon shots. How low is that Cupcake now? Is that Cupcake pretty close to dying yet or not? I can't quite tell. But yeah, just getting more harpoon damage on those guys, making this game harder and harder for King of All Games to win.
Mm-hmm.
That Vampires is now a hit away from death. Okay, that Cupcake's only on health, half health. I mean, he's trying his hardest to keep damaging those harpoons. It's just those kobolds don't do enough by himself. You need at least 2 kobolds on the same unit constantly attacking to get a kill on them eventually. Spreading them out a bunch and having them attack the zombies enough, you're just not going to get the kills off that you need.
That battle in the center right there has been like that for since the beginning of the game, pretty much.
Yeah, it is a strategic checkpoint. Who
Yeah.
controls that? It's like a bridge, you know.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, that's prevented the kobold. Like, Carbo's keeping units there just to prevent that Cupcake from getting by and healing his kobolds at all. He wants to keep that Cupcake limited to healing only those few units so he can actually kill the others.
Yeah. Good damage taken by the mushroom. Killed one of the kobolds, and the other vampire poison. So that was a good move there by Carbo.
Carbo hasn't even lost a zombie yet.
Mhm.
All right, he finally now just lost his mushroom.
Yeah.
And King of All Games just stepped on the spikes with his Cupcake pretty needlessly. He's just... It's just... this game's pretty clear how this is going to end up going. That's just the game. Whoever has a team that can counter Zeus will just end up winning. If you don't put in that correct team, you just won't do it.
And despite King of All Game doing his best, Carbo also played really well.
Yeah,
So-
Carbo knows what he's doing. He's used this team a bunch. He knows how to play it.
Yeah. Vampire took a lot of damage by the harpoon, and also the Cupcake now.
Yeah, I think that one vampire is just going to die due poison damage this turn. I don't think it has a lot of health left. And somehow that Cupcake managed to get a heal off on that guy before the poison damage ticks, but that won't happen.
Oh, it's there.
Yeah.
That's a heal for the other one. Double heal for the other one. Harpoon on the top. Still alive. Still can do damage. And if one of those can focus either the Cupcake or the vampire, I would say they're dead. And without that, the hopes are dying even more for King of All Games. He's doing his best, you know. He really want to get those extra $300, but might just not be enough. Let's see what those harpoons do here. Okay, one of the kobolds dead. Cupcake took
going
some
to
damage.
probably...
Oh,
Yeah.
double kill. So no more vampires. Yeah.
What can King of All Games do at this point? You know, it's just... It's over.
Yeah, I mean, it's just one kobold and one cupcake. Well, yeah, it's zombies or something. Nah, it's still hard. Two zombies. I think that's gonna be GG. And of course, King of All Games will try, but the cupcake is very, very low HP. The harpoons are repositioning. And no more cupcake. One kobold. He was just gonna put it in the middle. And I think that's it, Creeper. I think that's it. So we will have a champion in maybe 1 or 2 rounds.
Hey, you never know. Carbo might forfeit right now and make this go to a 5th game. You never know. It could happen.
Just for the emotions of it. We don't want this to end. And, oh, the harpoon was not enough. But there's no movement. He can only go through the spikes. And that's the end of his turn.
Any chance to forfeit? He's not going to do that.
Yeah, I know. Here we go. Harpoon and all the attacks. Oh, one of the zombies respawn, but it's Carvo. So GG's, ladies and gentlemen. And we have a champion, none other than Carvo, with a 3-1 victory here in the grand finals. Congratulations to Carvo. He definitely deserves it. And I guess we can show the bracket one last time, but congrats. First place, $500. Second place for King of All Games. Not bad at all. Good level, good strategy shown. And he will take home $200. So not bad. Not bad at all. And a good week. It's good stuff.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. I'm glad that it was like a 3-1 and not just a 3-0. There were definitely some chances there for comeback. It's always hard to choose the right composition, but it was really, really nice. So yeah, you have anything else to say to congrats Carvo? Maybe if you, I'm not sure if he wants to say something on stream as well.
I asked him if they do, but yeah, this was quite a big moment for both these guys. I'm sure Megan Fistar, and also kind of a big moment for kind of the Pit People community, the Pit Official Offensive community. This is getting along with stream with you guys, playing such a big cash prize tournament with everyone. This was kind of really big for us. We absolutely thank you, Swap, and the rest of you guys at the Behemoth for allowing us to have this event with you guys. This was wonderful for us. Absolutely. Just thank you for that, as well as thanks for everyone else for watching, of course, on stream.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you all very much for tuning in. Thank you, Creeper and Normandia, for the support. Your commentary, invaluable, to be honest. And the only reason why we're doing this is because of you guys organizing tournaments and all the rest of the crew playing them. So if you want to see more, just keep organizing, keep playing, and we will be there to support. It's really nice to have this here. And once again, thank you everybody for watching, for enjoying, and hopefully learning a little bit more about Pit People. I saw some comments the other day about some players that haven't played Pit People before, and because of the tournament, that now they wanted to give it a try. So hopefully they will enjoy it as well, increase the pool of players in the competitive scenario. But for now, we celebrate our winner, the one and only Carvo. So congrats to him. You guys have any last words? Normandia, maybe. And also thank you very much for joining us and for taking the time to be here with us.
Yeah, for sure. I'm just thankful for everything that's happening for now. Because I remember, like, me and Creeper, like, 2 years ago, starting this community, like, on first on Steam, and then we came to Discord, and we saw this community growing from the scratch. So it's very nice to see where we are now.
Yeah,
awesome.
Absolutely. And let's see here. That's 1, 2, 3. This is either his 4th or 5th tournament Carbo has won now.
Nice.
Yeah, he's a strong player for sure.
Yeah, and I like that it's someone, you know, that has been playing for a while tournaments, and not just one that came in, took the money, and, you know, go home. So that's pretty good. So again, thank you very much everybody for enjoying this tournament, and we will see you Remember, in an hour and a half, we have a stream with Dan Paladin. We're going to see the latest updates on Alien Hominid Invasion, which is kind of what we're celebrating as well during this PAX Online week. So thank you very much, all of you, and I hope to see you soon. Bye-bye. See you in a bit.
Absolutely.
Honestly, darling, I love you. Gonna wash my hands of you.